Alright, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's PankzTV Daily Cast, because why not? That is going to be Daily Cast number 9 so far, and that number only going higher. Just want to take a quick moment at the very beginning of this to say if you guys have matches that you feel are worthy of being casted, or that are relatively high skill, surprising, or just happen to be awesome in general ways, go ahead and send those my way, and I'll make sure those happen. For the time being, though, I think it's time to hop back on the bandwagon, because we're going back to some more Dota 2 Cast It matches, brought to you by our Dota 2 Cast It. Hopefully, in the future, those will be replaced by your matches, because I'm simply running out of matches on there, at least current ones. I can always just go to previous ones, but that's no fun. So, without further ado, tonight's cast is going to be between two random teams. Once again, all-pick teams, as per the usual, I suppose. Without further ado, let's hop in here. Since we all know it's all-pick, there's nothing too surprising. The draft occurring, just going to happen as it is. However, some teams prefer to do exactly what the Radiant are doing right now, and that is hold off on their picks until the very last moment, or it could just be that they're not communicating whatsoever, and in fact, it's the complete opposite of that. Whatever the case, they end up not picking till the last moment.
Prepare for battle.
So far, I'm looking forward to this match. I mean, it can happen in just about any way they want it to. It just depends how they're going to handle it. It also depends, obviously, if their own teammates can manage to pick their heroes, but that's something we'll see in the near future. Either way, the Dire have already picked their entire team, now representing their side as our Rikimaru, going to be okay-ish on Invoker stacks. Number only going higher. Just want to take a quick moment at the very beginning. That happened. My apologies. Stream was open in the background. Either way, as our Invoker, as I was saying, stacks as Nature's Prophet ... S.A ... or some, just refer to him as SA. As our Kunkka, shoot Toby twice, and finally as Coddle Makos. Over on the other side of things, we have Shadow Fiend being played by Mr. Smiley Face.
30 seconds to battle.
And a pause right off the bat, actually. Very early pause. Either way, Mr. Smiley Face as our Shadow Fiend. On our Slardar, going to be GQ Bayo Boy. And now as our VS, Vengeful Spirit, back in the main base, Illusion-E. As our Weaver, Once Upon a Time with the Alliance A in his name. And finally, the Mona Lisa on Rubik. All pick teams, oh boy. Just depends how they play this. Do they have the... Yep, looks like both sides rocking the supports they're going to need to make this happen. So over on the Radiant side of things, it's already going to be an interesting situation. Shadow Fiend going to be mid. Bot will probably end up with Rubik and VS. It looks like offlane Weaver. Slardar obviously already down here, going to be taking most of that safe lane farm. Up on the Dire side of things, mid lane Invoker, safe lane Ricky, and it looks like they're going to be running dual lanes so far. A Kunkka Coddle going off lane, and Nature's Prophet going to be in the jungle. This is, oh my, this is going to be an interesting idea, actually, if they're going to roll it like this.
Unto me.
Now Treant's being spawned by Nature's Prophet. Already is a few moments behind, though. Yeah, it's going to be a dual lane against a tri-lane, and this is going to be a dangerous one, considering that they're going to have a Ricky solo against a Weaver. Weaver is a very powerful offlaner, especially if he's played right. His Sakuchi makes him incredibly powerful, and he's going to play it very cautiously in these first few moments, but following that, he's going to be able to open up a can of whoop-ass on poor Rikimaru here until Ricky gets level 6. Once Ricky gets level 6, he's going to be A-okay in safe lane, but he's going to need that level 6 to feel safe at all. And oh, are we going for an early gank here? They come in. There's the stun from VS. Are we going to see the telekinesis from Rubik? Yes, we are. Now followed up by the Slardar. He's got a Slither and Crush. There's the final stun. Is it going to be enough DPS? Body block from Rubik. Very nicely played. They just need a couple more hits. Slardar looking for the last one. It's going to end up being Rubik and the first blood right off the bat. Coddle coming out here with his Coddle Blast, getting into just enough damage actually to take down the VS, and that's going to leave Rubik very low on HP. Thankfully, Tango's going to be deployed for both sides here, so they're going to be in a very safe position nonetheless. Up on the top side of things, again, that Ricky and Weaver going at each other. Now we start seeing the Sakuchi comes out, as well as the Geminate attack, and no matter what engagement this occurs with, Ricky's not going to be the one winning this, and he has to play this very carefully. I mean, with Weaver's Sakuchi, he's able to get out of this fight anytime. He can come in, hit him with the Geminate attack, then immediately Sakuchi right into him and out. And the creep wave gonna have no idea what hit him there. So any battle that Ricky goes to win this before level 6 is simply going to go the way of Weaver, most likely. Sure, Ricky can try and do a head-up fight, and if Weaver actually goes into a head-on fight, then it could end up going the way of Ricky, but that's what it's going to have to require. Meanwhile, it looks like one level of Exort and Quas for Invoker in our mid lane. Gonna be trying to play this as carefully as he can, while another Coddle Blast coming out. Gonna hit Venge pretty much right in the face, or more correctly in the back of the head in this case. And Venge just going to ignore it completely, because why not? Visibility going to be getting bottled by Shadow Fiend, heading back towards the mid lane. Invoker already getting pushed back a little bit, having to play rather cautiously. And this offlane, so far, this offlane with Kunkka and Coddle is working out very, very well for them. The lane is pushing in, though, and this is one of those things you have to take into consideration, as it doesn't look like they've actually stacked and pulled the lane yet, though they are in a position for a duel, or for a basically a stack of a stack, essentially. A pull-through stack. They are definitely in position for that. They should play carefully. Ward catching out the jungle vision. No ward on the camp itself, though, so they're not really looking for that. And a nice offensive ward coming out from the Radiant, so as long as this lane pushes in, which it's probably going to, they're going to get some pretty good vision behind the lane itself and know what's coming towards them. Again, Riki actually still doing a pretty good job in the off lane, but now Weaver's showing off why he's so powerful. He's equal in CS to Riki right here. He has to play very cautiously, as now he's actually out of anything that can give him HP, and there is a Nature's Prophet in the area. Riki going to be very dangerous. This could end very badly.
Dire's top tower
Thankfully,
is under
Sakuchi going to
attack.
come off cooldown right in time, and Kramer just going to nail it right on out of there. The flying, it's a flying bear with bug eyes. Oh, Vin's actually going to DC here. Kind of a bad position for her to DC, too. Right next to the Kunkka, no less. Tidebringer really showing why it's such a powerful ability down here in this bot lane. You just hit the creeps and it hits the heroes, as long as they're in line, obviously. And already the nice reconnect here. Very quickly.
Dire's top
Kyle
tower
doing a little
is
bit of work
under
on the
attack.
VS here. No Coddle Blast. In comes the Kunkka. An attempt, not going to do anything now. Venge still trying to get out here. Coddle Blast going to miss ever so slightly. Actually hits the Slardar head on. And now Torrent going to be coming in here from Kunkka once again. Actually just clearing the
Dire's
stack and
top
pull
tower
here.
is under attack.
Already that was disrupted by the looks of things, but a nice clearance there. Going to prevent the lane from doing any crazy shenanigans. Moves up once again. Torrent comes out, missing the Rubik very poorly. Now in comes the Sun from Vengeful. Going to try and make this happen. In comes the Coddle Blast going to miss, and both sides just going to back off, because you don't want to risk it this early on. It's 1-1. The CS is crazy equal in the off lane / safe lane, aka the other safe lane. And in the meantime, Shadowfiend is just owning this mid lane right now. Invoker is he's not getting a word in this anywhere, even with triple Quas and triple Exort, actually. He's going to have Sunstrike, so he can definitely deal damage. He just has to land that damage in order for that to actually happen. And simply right now, that's just not happening for him. Shadowfiend just doing much better job of staying in lane and getting the farm he needs. And in the meantime, Nature's Prophet still off in the jungle, quickly building into his Hand of Midas. Neglecting to grab a Ring of Basilius early on, though. Apparently he just didn't want to worry about XP. Looks like now a camp ward going to come out from the Dire, going to make sure that there's no more pull camps happening for the Radiant. And in the meantime, the Radiant making use of the fact that the Dire are going to have no rune vision whatsoever. They've got the rune warded, they've got a nice offensive lane ward in their own safe lane. That's going to play very nicely into their hands while these two are pushing forward. And as long as they push forward, that means the Radiant are going to have great vision down here. Not only that, but the Radiant, they're going to know if they feel safe going in for a gank. Right now, this dual bot lane is... I mean, if a gank were to happen, it wouldn't be a very pretty thing. Looks like a rotation occurring from VS heading towards mid here. Gonna try and find out the Invoker. That's simply not going to happen. Rubik and VS here, actually. They were standing on top of each other for a few months. Now they're going to rotate back down as, once again, this dual lane is pushing in rather aggressively. And it's still the same thing of, if they don't play this carefully, they're going to get caught out. And if they get caught out, with this rune vision, it's going to give the Radiant a great advantage in any fight that happens. VS already rotating very aggressively into the lane itself, or well into the jungle next to the lane. Slardar trying to get as much farm as he can. So far, not actually getting that much. Coddle and Kunkka doing a great job. Kunkka actually out-farming Slardar right now. That's how good of a job they are doing. And it looks like our Riki, now level 6, going to have a good lane advantage. Or I shouldn't say a lane advantage, but he's going to have a good laning presence, because he can be in his lane and he can feel safe doing so without having to worry about the DPS that the Weaver can bring against him. And back on the lane itself, or the safe lane, the Radiant, they're once again set up. They could look for a gank here, but they haven't completely spotted out, and Kunkka not going to fall for it. Going to pop his torrent and then immediately back up. That's just going to give Slardar a little bit more farming room. He's going to be able to get in here, he's going to be able to grab that farm, and that's going to give him just a little bit more XP, which is what he definitely needs right now. Compared to the Kunkka, he is definitely in need of it, even though he's out-leveling the Kunkka. That very early gank by them in this lane specifically, showing off that it's a very powerful component and giving them a good little advantage in XP, at least for the time being. Another Coddle Blast coming out. And a Torrent actually hitting the VS head on. She's going to have to get out of here. Slow occurring. Now they put down the Sentry Ward. Yes, it does see that Observer, so they're going to be able to find that out any moment. As in, they should have found it out already. Now Rubik going to go and deward that. One final Coddle Blast going to go in here. Going to hit the Rubik pretty much head on while in the lane itself. Now the amplified damage going to come out from the Slardar, and this is going to be a make it or break it thing for Riki. And another disconnect from our Vinge. And so far, no pause coming out either. But this is going to be a make or break it moment for Riki, because one of the issues Riki has is he is not a very... I mean, he can... I shouldn't say he's not a late game carry, because all carries in their way have to be late game oriented. But the thing about Riki is he's a little bit more mid game in my opinion when there isn't as much invis detection, or at least when he comes online. Once he gets late game and deals tons and tons of damage, it's less about the invisibility for him and more just about his capability to go into team fights and backstab all day long. Just deal an incredible amount of damage and make everything die that you touch. Now, the reason why that this could be a make it or break it moment here with the amplified damage is because amplified damage, once it's cast on you, it gives true sight for the amount of time that it's on you. So yes, Riki probably going to be rushing Diffusal Blade here, going to be trying to break that as fast as he can and get away from that amplified damage if he can. But again, going into the late game, he's going to be very careful about gems, dust, Sentry Wards, and now just to throw on top of it, amplified damage as well. If he reveals himself at all, that amplified damage is going to come out. It's going to be a very interesting situation that he could get himself into if he's not careful. I mean, even now, the lane, his own lane, is pushing very aggressively as, even with his invisibility, Weaver is still taking a better CS game right now. Riki, in the meantime, is actually leading a small amount in XP, but comparatively, the CS game just going to tell a little bit of a story there in this off lane. No rotations, lots and lots of amplified damage. Kunkka, he's trying to get a word in here. He's trying to get any farm he can. And the simple answer right now is he's getting pushed out of lane, and they don't have jungle vision anymore, so in comes the VS. There's the Rubik. Telekinesis already coming out. There's the stun. In comes the Slither and Crush. The Torrent going to keep him alive temporarily. Is it enough? The TP in from Nature's Prophet. Coddle Blast catching that Slardar almost straight in it. No tree ring as of yet. Does he have tree ring? He has no tree ring. He can't use the tree ring. But still, it might just be enough damage. Sunstrike coming in. Going to miss completely. He tries to juke north. Is it going to work? No, the final hit going to come in from Nature's Prophet. Slardar turns back around. Shadow Fiend now teleporting in, going after the Coddle. So much damage, actually. God, Shadow Rays and just the natural damage of Shadow Fiend. Such an immense amount of damage. If you don't play it carefully, it won't go very well for you. And now Shadow Fiend is going to have to rotate back around mid, and that's just going to give this Invoker a little bit more time to farm. Give him just that little bit more time than he needs, because he is very far behind. He's almost halfway behind Shadow Fiend at this point. And looking at that situation, where you're an Invoker mid against Shadow Fiend, that's not exactly what you're looking for. Now Kunkka coming in here once again, no amplified damage just yet. Gonna get a little bit of damage on Slardar and get himself just a little bit more farm, trying to even up the playing field. But unfortunately at this stage in the game, that's probably not gonna happen. One thing to note though, they did replace their Observer Ward. The Rune Ward itself about to wear off, and they don't have any Observer Ward to replace that with. They do have a Sentry Ward if they needed to check it out, which I don't think they're actually interested in doing. And in the meantime, the Pole Camp Ward, put down by the Dire, going to expire shortly. Coddle Blast coming out, you're going to hit the creep wave pretty dead on. In comes the VS stun. Shadow Fiend now coming in, he's going to have his Shadow Rays. So much damage, going to two-shot Coddle. Kunkka looking for the final kill, going to get it on the VS. Invoker going to throw down his Sunstrike, and Kunkka going to die very brutally in that fight. Shadow Fiend just going to turn back around that haste turn, giving him a lot of capability in this lane. He's got a ton of souls, and he has a lot of damage output that could come from the Requiem of Souls.
Middle tower is under attack.
And actually not going to push this bot lane. He's just going to TP back mid. Nature's Prophet and Invoker were attempting to split push into this. They did a little bit of damage to the tower, but as for now, we're still sitting safely in the farm. In the farm, yes, that's a logical statement. No, we are sitting safe in the laning phase. Ha! This is a little bit of a reversal. Rookie actually has the dust right now, and Weaver has no invis detection. He has a Sentry Ward right here. I guess that's all I should really say, but he doesn't have any more Sentry Wards in case he needs them. So as long as he stays under tower, he's going to be fine. He has to play this rather cautiously. As well as the fact that he's going to be able to see this Riki a lot of the time now, especially if the lane stays right under that tower, which so far it has done. Now it is going to slowly push out. Or not, actually. The lane's going to push out a little bit. Ricky's going to stay right under tower and right in range of that Sentry Ward. Oh, and Weaver accidentally revealing his intentions there. Ricky had to know that that Sentry Ward was there. Now it is gone, however. Meanwhile, back in bot lane, are we looking for an attempted gank here? Cuddle Blast coming out, not going to hit anything except the Sentry Ward, and the Observer Wards don't take damage from it anyway. Still, though, I'm liking what I see here from the Radiant. They've got great rune vision, great jungle vision. They've got all the information they need to win this lane right now. And at this moment, they simply... actually, they are now. They've passed by the Kunkka and the Coddle now. And this dual lane, while it was effective early on, it's slowly losing steam. Slardar, without that amplified damage, he didn't have that great capability to push Kunkka out of lane. And now that he does, Kunkka's having trouble staying in lane. He can throw a fail boat in and attempt to go for it from there, but that doesn't always work. And nice amplified damage, going to catch out the Coddle. Now just a little bit of illusion damage. Now as well, the Nature's Prophet going to fly in. Your Kunkka turns back around. No boat just yet. Torrent comes in, hits the Rubik head on. Going to slow him down temporarily, but it looks like the Dire, they're going to back off. They don't want to go into this engagement as it could be a very, very unfortunate uphill battle if they were to go for that. And thankfully, they are just going to turn back around. They're not going to go into that situation.
Warriors of the Wood.
Warriors of the Wood, indeed. So now the Ancient's going to start getting farmed by Nature's Prophet. He's got his Hand of Midas, and not only that, he's building into his Shadow Blade. So Nature's Prophet going to be in a very good situation going into the mid-game. Still, we're in the laning phase, which is still surprising. Usually by the 13-minute mark, teams would have at least attempted to leave the laning phase, would have gone for towers, but this is just continuing on with the laning phase, actually. Another Coddle Blast coming out. Not going to find anything but its own illusion, and in the meantime, amplified damage still coming out on that Kunkka here. He's not far behind in CS from the Slardar, but he has to play it very carefully. Otherwise, this could go against him very quickly, especially with a Rubik and a VS in the lane. If Venge stun gets off, followed by a Telekinesis and a Slytherin Crush, it'll be a very poor day to be a Kunkka, or a Coddle for that matter. So they have to play this very carefully. They do have jungle vision. They have a nice ward here, giving them great vision of both the lower lane and... well, not the lower lane, I should say, but it does cover a little bit of the lane. But the lower half of the jungle and just the center of the jungle itself. What it doesn't cover is the right side of the jungle, where they're going to need that vision in case of a gank, and right now they simply don't have that. Kunkka, though, he's going to rotate towards the mid lane here, while in the meantime, Shadow Fiend rotates towards the bot lane. He's going to find a DD rune here, and he's going to turn right back around. If he goes into this mid lane with a DD rune, it's going to be a very deadly thing to play against, and Invoker, they have no idea, because they have no rune vision, neither top nor bottom rune vision. And now, Shadow Fiend, he's rotating into the lane. Going to clear the way very quickly, Invoker going to back off. Shadow Fiend, though, he's trying. He really wants to bait Invoker into this. If Invoker pushes too far forward, Shadow Fiend's going to be able to come into this and get a nice quick kill. Though in the meantime, Phase Boot Kunkka heading towards mid here. Rotates right up the lane, actually. Not even going to worry about the fact that there's a Shadow Fiend there. Meanwhile, bot lane, amplified damage coming out on the Coddle. Slardar trying his best to just keep that Coddle suppressed and make sure he wins the lane. And right now, he's just gaining a slow CS lead. And he's got a Blink Dagger on himself now. Torrent coming out. Kunkka going to start clearing the neutral camps in the Radiant jungle. Now the creep wave going to push in once again. Kunkka in the jungle looking to rotate down. Now he's going to get completely spotted out by that Observer Ward. So they realize, VS and Slardar that is, realize that there is a Kunkka who is once again here, as well as the Coddle just sitting away in the jungle, ready to strike like a panther. And actually Shadow Fiend activates the DD rune. He's now in the bot lane, going to rotate into the jungle quickly here. Slardar comes in. There's the Slytherin Crush. There's the stun from VS and the nuke quickly followed by it. Coddle gonna throw out his blast, gonna deal enough damage. Will it be enough? Actually, yes, the blinding light able just to push them back and get enough distance for Kunkka to get on out of here. Now Shadow Fiend going to farm the lane for a short amount of time, but he shouldn't stay in this lane too long. If he does, he's just stealing farm from the Slardar, and with his Shadow Blade, he's able to get out of the lane itself. Coddle Blast coming out, clear that creep wave rather aggressively. That just means that tower is not going to go down for another few moments, while in the meantime, Nature's Prophet's still up farming in the jungle.
Radiant's middle tower
Oh,
has
Invoker,
fallen.
though, mid lane, able to catch a little peep right here and get some Forged Spirits in there. Going to deal just enough damage to that tower that it's going to go down. While in the meantime, Shadow Fiend is looking pretty scary right now. His Stolen Souls make him incredibly powerful, and if you're not careful, he's a very deadly thing to go against. Smoke is out in the field, though. They find one
Dire's
Forged
middle
Creation.
tower
Now
is
they
under
are
attack.
thinking about it. Shadow Fiend going to pop his Shadow Blade. Invoker, he's going to run back under the tower, but they're going to rotate
Radiant's
up
top tower
behind.
is under
Are they going to
attack.
find the Nature's Prophet? This could go very poorly. Smoke gets popped. Will Nature's Prophet reveal himself? No, he's going to stay invisible. Now they have to know him. They have to know. Our invisibility just got popped. The smoke is gone. They need to play incredibly carefully, but that's not what they're doing. Ricky's rotating in. Nature's Prophet is still here. Shadow Fiend is right here as well, though. They're walking them right into a trap, and it's a trap that's getting more and more deadly by the moment. Now Nature's Prophet is still right here. He's got his Treants on call. His ult's still down for a few moments here, and they're going to start rotating out here, but they needed to rotate a few moments ago. Now the Rookie comes in. The Sunstrike, beautiful Sunstrike, lands right on top of the VS, and right there now the Rubik and the Blink Strike from the Rookie going to seal the deal with that Rubik going down, making it 5-7. An attempted gank just gone perfectly wrong when their invisibility was broken, and they just did not react to the fact that, oh hey, our invisibility is gone. We have been revealed to the world. I wonder why. It's one of those little faux pas of the smoke. If your smoke breaks and you see no one around you, guess what? It's not because it's a bug, it's because someone's invisible and they want to brutally kill you. Now Nature's Prophet coming into the mid lane here once again. While in the meantime, top tower going to get taken down by Weaver. He's got a TP. He's going to get out of here very cleanly as well. Sunstrike not even going to do anything for their team. BKB as well, now coming out on that Weaver, so he's going to have a lot of spell tolerance. Sunstrike, what a problem.
Top tower
Nature's
is under
Prophet,
attack.
not a problem. Kunkka Torrent, not a problem. Just the amount of damage. And not only that, but Kunkka, he's dealing a good amount of right-click damage, but the real danger for Weaver and any other hero is going to be that Ricky backstab. If they're not careful, if that backstab continues going in, then it's going to be a very bad day to be on your team. Oh, Invoker rotating to the Invis Rune here. He hasn't grabbed it yet. Finally, he's going to grab it. And Shadow Fiend's like, oh, I should have grabbed it. Not only that, but now his Shadow Blade even going to wear off, and Invoker's like, oh, you were trying to gank me. Ricky right here, he's going to Blink Strike onto the Rubik. In comes the smoke. Now there is no more capability. The Sunstrike, Rubik could have avoided that, but instead he's just going to land the Sunstrike right on his head. And Ricky still going to walk out of here because of that invisibility. Not an issue. Is there any invis detection right now for the Radiant? And yes, there is. They do have Dust at this moment. And double Sentry Ward. Sentry Ward's on both Weaver and Vengeful Spirit right now, so they have a lot of counter invisibility. That's what they're going to need to go into the mid game. They're going to need the capability to spot out that Ricky, to nullify his capability. But again, the deadly part of Ricky is his backstab damage. Right now, he's going to have 180 damage per strike on his right-click damage as long as he's behind you, and that's going to be a very... I mean, you just don't want to deal with that, period. Now he's even got his Diffusal Blades. That dust, it can be diffused off at any moment. It can be purged. And Ricky, he's going to be looking to do that, too. He's not going to go into these fights thinking, ho-de-do-de-do, they're not going to see me, I can guarantee you. Rickies who have any brains behind them will realize that they're going to need that Diffusal Blade, and they're going to need to purge themselves of dust from time to time. This Nature's Prophet actually not leading GPM. I find that surprising. Usually Nature's Prophet are either leading in GPM or right behind it. He is right behind it. But with this Nature's Prophet, his amount of farm that he's getting and the fact that he's got a Hand of Midas and he's farming jungle, he should just be leading the game in GPM right now. That's not happening. He's actually being led by the Shadow Fiends. Torrent comes in from the Kunkka, and looks like we might have a big fight on our hands here. Venge right there. Weaver rotating from the top lane. In comes the amplified damage. Slardar going to sprint down, rotating back to his team, and it's going to be 3v5. 3v4 actually, as Coddle's still mid. Mid tower going to get denied by the Coddle. Very nicely played. Ricky's still spotting this out. In comes the Nature's Prophet ult, and even the Ricky's not that insane. Oh, but the Sentry Ward comes down. They see him now. Dust gets popped, and now he has been revealed. A blink forward, nicely done. Slither and Crush. There's the VS stun as well, followed by the Telekinesis. So cleanly played, and the Shadow Fiend rotates in just to seal that deal. Oh, the Rubik's so close. The Forged Spirits are going after him. He's trying to juke into the jungle. And yes, he's just going to juke right back around, and Invoker not even going to be able to catch this. This Rubik going to get out with approximately 5 HP in the end of things. Shadow Fiend in the meantime with his Shadow Ray is just going to clear that mid lane once again. And for an engagement like that, that's going to be a big loss. They've lost their carry. Ricky going down like that, that's just not what you're looking for. Ricky needs to continue farming. He needs to be in the lead in net worth, and he's not. He's actually halfway down the board right now. He's 3rd on his team, 5th on the overall board, and that's just not what you're looking for. Going into the mid game as a Ricky, you're going to need to be able to deal DPS. You're going to need to boost your DPS, and that's going to require items going into this mid game. Even when you max your level of backstab, it's just not going to be enough damage. You're going to need more damage than the amount that backstab provides. So going into the mid game, we're going to be looking towards that Ricky to grab any item he can that's going to boost up his damage. Plus, they do have great split push capability. They've got the Nature's Prophet going into the mid game. If they play this very carefully, then they're just going to go into this and wreck house. Nature's Prophet going to be everywhere they don't want them to be. Towers should drop like flies. And even right now, he could be doing that, but teams are still sticking rather, I don't want to say ruthfully, but they're sticking rather statically to their lanes. Slardar, he's still down here in bot lane. Shadow Fiend's actually pushing this bot lane now. With mid tower gone, top T1 gone. They're looking to push bot T1, and Coddle, he's going to come in. Coddle's going to do his job. He's going to counter push. That's exactly what they need the Coddle for. And with that happening, that means it's going to deny their capability to push this lane. Nature's Prophet in the meantime, there's that split push capability I'm talking about. Nature's Prophet comes in. Top T1 going to get pushed down very quickly. In the meantime, Coddle going to get caught out. Blink in from the Slardar, and Coddle going to drop like a rock. Kunkka looking to do anything he can, but what can he really do other than call in your Ghost Chip?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
In comes the boat. Is it going to hit anyone? It is going to hit the Weaver. Time lapse. Oh, he popped his time lapse at the wrong moment. Sakuchi going to go in, but Ricky dust pops, and he's going to be able to find that Sakuchi Weaver. Now they turn this back around, going after the VS. Blink strike in. Any backstab, and yes, Ricky with the final backstab for the kill. Now Rubik turning this back around. Ricky's still spotted out. Shadow Fiend, he's going to pop his Requiem. There goes the Requiem. Ricky goes down. Shadow Fiend still here. And Slardar alive and well. And Rubik going to dodge the Sunstrike, no less. Now Kunkka, he needs to retreat out of here. The Slardar's onto him. He's got no mana, though. He can't actually sprint, so... Oh, Kunkka, he's going to pop a Shadow Blade and turn right back around. He's going back to the lane. Is he going to try for a kill on Rubik? If he doesn't play this carefully, he could end up very dead. Rubik actually TPing out. Now he's going to find that Shadow Fiend Shadow Blading at the last moments. And now Kunkka revealed to the Shadow Fiend. Torrent coming out to no effect. One thing I should cover is the wards once again. I love this ward coverage. They've got bot rune covered and top rune, although the top ward's about to expire in 40 seconds. Dire in the meantime, different story. They've got the top rune covered, which is actually now going to expire. And they have their mid lane covered. It's a nice offensive mid lane ward, but right about now you could have placed that a little bit further down towards the T2 tower, and it could have caught vision on this little uphill ramp and a little bit more vision towards the interior of the jungle itself, giving you just a little bit more intel as to where the enemy heroes are going, and the fact that it's that far forward is not going to be as useful. Especially comparatively to something like a rune ward, which would give you better vision. Shadow Fiend, though, gets caught out. Tree Rings comes out, and that's going to be a very quick death for Shadow Fiend. Going to lose him just a little bit more souls, leaving him with 18 in total. And now Nature's Prophet with his Treant's going to clear the enemy jungle. Slardar right here, he blinks in. There's the Slither and Crush trying to back out of this now. Amplified damage comes out on the Nature's Prophet. A lot of damage. There's the Fade Bolt. There's the Vengeful Spirit nuke, and they try to turn this back around. Nature's Prophet goes down. Slardar goes down. Invoker right here. Sentry Ward's going down for both sides. Weaver right here. Kunkka getting caught out. Telekinesis picks him up. And now they need to turn this back around. There's the Coddle Blast. Going to find out the Weaver, though. Ricky, he's going in here once again. The Rubik, no chance of escape, and he's going to go down. Now the T2 tower is starting to take damage, and with a full team wipe for one hero, the Dire are very safe doing this. Treants come down, and this tower is as good as dead. As for a buyback status, the Radiants,
Bottom
only 2 of
tower
them
has
actually have
fallen.
buyback right now, so they're not going to have very good capability. But the Dire, they don't want to push this anyway. With Shadow Fiend about to come up and Rubik and Slardar not far behind, they're going to back off with a T2 tower and an entire team wipe as their benefits. The XP graph showing that they're down to a 7.5k XP lead, over 10k in gold, and they're just going to go straight for Roche here. They're not even going to bother dewarding this. They just know that the Radiant have no capability to counter this right now, and the Radiant realize it as well. Cold Feet, such a powerful ability. Now the Ricky trying to get his backstabs in here. Still doing a great job. It looks like Roshan gonna go down. The Radiant, they did rotate over, but it's already too late. If they were to go for this engagement, it could end very poorly for them. D-wards everywhere. They dropped 3 sentry wards in that area. That's just absurd that they dropped that many sentry wards.
Regeneration.
And now the Dire, they're rotating straight down. Kunkka's got his Crystallis. He rotates right in. So many sentry wards. He gets caught out. There's the Requiem of Souls and the Fate Bolt for the kill guaranteed on Kunkka. But now they're continuing to rotate down. Sunstrike barely going to miss that Rubik. Blink Strike in from the Ricky. Going to try and go on the Shadow Fiend. BKB gets popped, and there's the Aegis as well. Now Shadow Fiend just going man mode, moving in here. Ricky's going to come up here once again, though. Coddle Blast going to stun him. So much DPS. And Dust just going to pop for the kill confirmed. Now Nature's Prophet. He went in 1 by 1, and he's going to drop as well. Slardar looking for the final kill, but instead it's Weaver. Now Coddle needs to back up. He's trying to get out of this, but the Sakuchi going to catch up. You're not faster than a Weaver. And that Weaver, if he wants to catch you, he can. Not only that, they have a Slardar with sprint. Rubik, he stole TP from the Nature's Prophet. He TP's in, and Slardar, if the kill confirmed, going to get that last hit.
We're out of your depth.
And a very nice fight for the Radiant, going to even these things up once again, 14-14. And even though they lost Roshan in that fight, they still ended up getting a pretty clean team fight. It's going to really turn around the XP graph, almost getting it back to 6k there. Gold dropped down to 12k for a few moments when it's going to head back up. Or drop beneath 12k, excuse me, when it's going to head back to the 12k mark. And realistically, what went wrong with that fight is the Radiant, I wouldn't say they had a better initiation. The Dire would have had a better initiation, but they ended up going in 1 by 1. The Ricky immediately went in, he extended a little bit too far, and then he got punished for that by the enemy team. And looking for that, that's just not what you're looking for if you're a Ricky in that situation. To go into a fight like that and get caught out immediately, your team wasn't there to support you, they had tons of invis detection. If you had just played that a little bit more carefully, it would have gone better for him, but instead, Ricky was the first loss, and that was just followed up by heroes going in 1 by 1. And when your heroes are going in 1 by 1 to a team fight where the enemy team is concentrating down heroes and you're going in 1 by 1, yeah, predictable result is fairly predictable. Meanwhile, they're back to pushing mid lane here. Already the bot T2 tower down for the Radiant, so the Dire, they're going to push, or at least they're going to push the lane in to the mid. Top lane in the meantime, starting to push in. Weaver up there trying to make this happen. Invoker right in the jungle nearby. He's got his Forged Spirits. He's rotating over to the lane. I don't think there's anything he could actually do to the Weaver here. Weaver gets caught out. There's the Cold Feet. No Sunstrike with the Cold Feet doing a lot of work. Time Lapse comes out. He's going to Sakuchi out of it immediately right into the jungle, and this is why Weaver is such a slippery target. He's about to walk into the entire, well, 2 more members of the Dire team. Oh, they both rotate the same way. If they had gone a different direction, perhaps they would have found this Weaver, but as it stands instead, oh, they get vision. They see the Weaver. Swarm comes out. Sakuchi as well, going right in on the Invoker. Sakuchi getting a little bit more damage. He rotates over to the side shop. Does he get spotted out? It's close, but in comes Slardar. The Slither and Crush going to catch 2 of them. Ricky rotates in. Now, the Yule Scepter going to pick up the Invoker, trying to back up. There's the Ghost Ship. It's going to land right on the Rubik. Rubik goes down, and in the meantime, Weaver gets caught out by the Deafening Blast. In comes the Kunkka. Oh, and the X marks the spot as well. Going to take that time lap, or going to take him back. Only 6 more seconds. Coddle in the meantime goes down. Such a messy fight. Swarm comes out once again. Shadowing comes in. He 1-shots Kunkka. He 2-shots Invoker. They go down, and Radiant, a great job with that team fight. But in the meantime, Nature's Prophet, he's done what he's good, what he's best at. He has done Nature's Prophet things. He rotated down to the bot lane. Oh, he's got a sheep stick now. So Scythe of Vice out on that Nature's Prophet, and oh, Ricky, he's got to play this so carefully. In comes the Nature's Prophet. They turn back around. Now he's dealing that damage, and you can't turn your back to a Ricky. If you turn your back to a Ricky, you are already dead. And the Nature's Prophet TPN, just an extra added benefit for the kill. And in that time, actually, Nature's Prophet almost died. He had it almost full off going into that engagement. He almost got 3-shot by that Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend is just dealing so much damage right now. He's up to almost 200 Yeah, 200 right-click damage. That's just absurd. It really is. Nature's Prophet coming out once again is going to get them that little bit more vision that they need, and they're going to return right back to farming here. And as long as they do that, I mean, the XP advantage has gone back up once again. It's still at the 6K mark and dropping a little bit lower now. Gold still holding steady. It's generally the more passive one to see, so the fact that it's holding steady will generally explain what's going to happen. Still, though, the game like this, I mean, oh, actually, in the meantime, Slardar, he goes in, amplified damage comes down on the Kunkka, he Shadow Blades with the True Sight from it, and the Sprint going to make this possible. Torrent coming out, but BKB's going to get popped by the Slardar, and just nothing's going to come of that except a dead Kunkka. But again, looking at this, neither team really went for an early aggressive win. Both teams are going more for a mid to late game, and knowing that as the case, we're going to be looking more for a 40, 50, 60-minute game, if not longer, actually. And right now, considering what's going on, the Riki wants to sit back and farm. The Shadow Fiend wants to be a little bit aggressive because he's at the height of his power, at least right now. With the amount of right-click damage he can do, the more lockdown that comes against him is going to be the more problems for him. And the same thing goes for Riki as well. If they don't play this carefully, then both sides can end up being at a detriment in the late game. And knowing that, both teams are going to try and play a little bit more aggressively in the mid-game than they would later on. So I would actually revise that opinion to say that this should be GG by about the 50-minute mark. Obviously, except for extreme circumstances, that always could occur. Mid lane gonna get cleared by the Radiant here. Tower taking just a little bit of damage, lost about a third of its health. In the meantime, Nature's Prophet split pushing that bot lane. Now starting to deal a nice amount of right-click damage. He's up to almost 160. Weaver gonna rotate down and try and do something about that now gigantic wave that's coming into that bot tower, and right now there's actually nothing here to defend this tower. Nature's probably going to go back, farm jungle for a few moments. Call of Blast coming in, you're going to clear that nice creep wave. It's so juicy. Oh, it misses. It just pops a few milliseconds too late, and it completely misses. And now the Forged Spirits are going to have to take the bulk of this wave. Cuddle not going to miss a second time. Probably a little bit angry that he missed the first time, for that matter. Now the creep wave pushing in once again. Nature's Prophet still farming jungler. He's TPing top lane to support. No, to find the Slardar. Riki comes in. He gets that last backstab. That's the kill confirmed. Shadow Blade gets popped. Gonna grab that VS. They need to turn back around. They need to save the Riki. This is gonna depend on this, but they can't. Smoke gets popped, and Riki is gonna go down here. Nature's Prophet. Now Swarm comes out. Weaver right here dealing damage. Dust gonna get purged off himself. Actually, she's going to wear off, for that matter. Now Kunkka comes in. Weaver taking a lot of damage. There's the time lapse. Nature's Prophet almost hitting him for that last strike instead. X marks the spot, comes out. There's the mana leak. No mana for the Weaver anymore. That means no Sakuchi, no Geminates, no Swarm either, and Weaver going to go down. Got to play that mana bleed so carefully. Mana leak, excuse me. And now the top lane push again. Nature's Prophet back here once again. 3 down for the Radiant. This top T3 tower about to start taking damage. While in the meantime, Invoker's pushing mid lane. This is going to be very dangerous. X marks the spot, getting stolen by the Rubik. He's about to get X'd again. He X'd himself. Is it going to happen? It needed to, but no, he's just not going to get saved. Instead, top T3 tower goes down, mid T3 tower goes down. Shadow Fiend comes in, trying to clean up the wave here, but the Dire, they've already backed off, and it's already just a little bit too late. Slardar going to blink in, amplified damage comes out. This Invoker might go down. Yule's Scepter going to save him temporarily, but the final hit, Shadow Fiend going to do just one-shot him. A third of his health just instantly gone. Shadow Fiend dealing 260 damage, and on top of that, he has the Crystallis. He's dealing so much critical damage right now, but his problem is he just can't split push this. He can't split push his way through a Nature's Prophet and an entire team pushing another lane. Invoker, he's got some split push capability, so the Dire team right now, they are very powerful in the field of split push, and they're looking to abuse that as much as they can. Roshan about to be back up in about a minute 30 seconds. Nature's Prophet and Invoker rotating down towards the bot lane here. Gonna try and make this one happen. So once again, bot lane gonna start pushing. Slardar still farming jungle, but in the meantime, Rubik and, oh, now just Rubik rotating towards bot lane. So Rubik's gonna try and do whatever he can about this Nature's Prophet. It's a conundrum we have to solve. The Dire team, they're not rotating anywhere just right now. And it looks like they might actually be going for, yeah, they might just be going for Roshan, actually. Ricky gonna check it instead. They're gonna rotate down through the jungle. They've got the vision in the jungle, so they know what's going on here. The Radiant do have vision of the western lane of the jungle, but they can't see very good vision, so they have to play this very carefully. I still think that this ward could be placed in better places to give them better vision. It's a good safe ward to place. Like, you don't really have to worry about it. You're right outside your base. You can place it very safely, but it's still... there's just better wards that can be placed than that one. The Radiant, though, they're actually trying to push this. They're doing a 5-man push right up the Dire mid lane. They're looking for a T2 tower that's taking no damage. Nature's Prophet ult is going to come out. Now Shadow Fiend starts doing damage to the tower. Shadow Race comes out. Going to clear some of the creeps very rapidly. Again, a little team fight in the mid lane, trying to make something happen here. Ricky, now he's reaching his prime. He's got his Yasha, he's got a lot of DPS. Fail boat coming in, and it's not a fail boat. It finds 2 of them. In comes Ricky, he gets an immediate kill on Venge, but Shadow Fiend, just the amount of DPS. Requiem of Souls comes out. Ricky taking so much damage. He needs to be careful, and he's not. He's going to go down, and the time lapse is going to come out as well. Nature's Prophet, he comes in here, but now he can't see the Shadow Fiend that just brutally murdered most of their team. Weaver going to get a little bit more kills as well, able to pull off just another few, being followed by the Nature's Prophet. Shadowed more correctly, and instead Weaver just going to fall off, and Nature's Prophet not going to find anything, but he is going to push this mid lane just a little bit more.
Under attack.
I believe that was a 2-for-4 engagement. That's just not what you're looking for. It's 25 to 24 now, and the Radiant just got a great engagement out of that. Nature's Prophet, he finds that Roshan is up once again. He doesn't have his Treants just yet. Oh, this Nature's Prophet's being silly. Either way, XP looking like a sine wave right now. It is in favor of the Dire by about 7k. Gold, on the other hand, down to a 20,000 gold advantage. They know that Roshan is up now, and they're going to have the capability to do that at any moment. Nature's Prophet just needs his Treants. That is going to pop them on the Ancients here, so they're going to hold off on the Roshan. Whereas, oh, Shadow Fiend, he's not looking to do so. Oh, that's just unfortunate. Huh. Shadow Fiend unable to kill that thing no matter what until the moment that he actually does so. Needs the vision on the high ground, bro. Now Vengeful Spirit Nuke gonna come out, gonna find out the Kunkka. They know that they know the Roshan is there. Now Ricky rotates in. They're going to need the Nature's Prophet. Treant comes in. There's the Treants, and now the aggro is going to get taken by him. A couple of them rotating in, but the Radiant are now gone. They just moved away, and Roshan's already taking a lot of damage. Talk about dead. Cold Feet coming out just to extend that lead by a little bit. Now Aegis drops, going to get picked up by the Ricky. Shadow Fiend immediately turns back around. Now he is dealing 282 base hit damage. Finds the Kunkka, almost 3 shots, and in comes the Ricky, but Ricky just can't deal enough damage. He goes down. Aegis gets popped. Nature's Prophet right here. Nature's Prophet comes in. He's trying to run away, but he's been spotted out. Jim is up on the Shadow Fiend. Can't even kill the Venge before the Shadow Fiend just finishes him off, and Shadow Fiend is just getting crazy right now. He's up to 295 base damage, and he's looking to murder anything that gets in his path. Invoker barely going to escape from this fight, and Cuddle not going to be so lucky. He goes down. And with that, that means that's been a 4 out of 5 team wipe, and the Radiant didn't lose anyone. Plus, they popped the Aegis. XP has gone all the way back up. It's a 2k advantage for the Dire. And oh my, Shadow Fiend going to find out the Nature's Prophet in the top lane. An attempt at split push gone completely wrong. Oh dear, this is, never mind, this is probably not going to be a 40-minute or 50-minute game anymore. This has just been extended. You know why? Because both teams don't want to push it too far into the late game, but the scary thing about this is simply that with his BKB, Shadow Fiend, his amount of base hit damage is going to keep this going, because this means that the Dire are going to be unable to push forward very easily. They've got to deal with the Shadow Fiend, who can 3-shot 2 of their
Dire's
heroes.
middle tower is
Almost
under
4-shot a
attack.
Kunkka, 4-shot a Nature's Prophet. He deals insane amounts of damage, and with that in mind, he just killed the tower, pretty much solo.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
So now mid T2 tower gone for the Dire. They still have their bot T1 and bot T2. So that's probably going to be the next target of the Radiant here. And indeed, immediately we see a rotation from them. They're going to walk all 5 of themselves right by an Observer Ward on the bottom rune here, but they don't even care. They just have such a DPS advantage with that Shadow Fiend that they're not even worried. Going into an engagement, they're just not going to even worry. And the D ward comes out as well, so the Dire know what's going on. They need to split push their way through this. If they don't try and split push, they have superior split push. If they don't try and split push, then it could end very, very poorly. They're going to lose this bot T1 tower almost irregardless. They just need to... They need to accept that it's
Dire's bottom
gone.
tower is under attack.
Coddle actually rotates down, and now we do
Dire's
see the
bottom
Nature's
tower
Prophet and the
has
Riki
fallen.
split pushing that top lane, Invoker split pushing mid lane. And they are still down here in the bot lane. Now they're starting to rotate out with bot T1 gone. Rubik gets taken down by the Riki. Shadow Fiend rotates around. Finch gonna go down. Is it going to be fast enough? The gem's here. Will the Riki survive? BKB not gonna do you anything there, man. Riki goes down. Will he get the TP? It's gonna be close. Yes, Nature's Prophet
Radiant's
able to
middle
TP
barracks
out
are
of there,
under
just
attack.
barely though. A nice tree ring, or sprout, I should say. A nice sprout gonna save him, at least for the time being. And in the meantime, the Dire have gone back to farming the Radiant jungle, trying to get as much farm as they can, but they just can't match the farming pace of this Shadow Fiend right now, who is level 25. He is 3 levels ahead of Nature's Prophet, 5 ahead of Weaver, and that number in itself should be scary. Nature's Prophet may have the higher net worth, but Shadow Fiend just has so much DPS. He's got over 300 DPS now. Hell, he's got basically 326 base hit damage. And looking at that number, let's see here. He'll basically 5-shot Nature's Prophet, 5-shot Kunkka, 3 shots a Coddle. Pretty much anything that he touches is going to die, as it doesn't have an escape mechanic. I mean, Force Staff, that might be able to save you. Blink Dagger, not going to save you once he already hits you. And he's got a Gem of True Sight on him, too. That's really the nullifying factor right here. Riki just has no capability to fight against this Shadow Fiend, who not only out DPSs him, but has the capability to nullify his primary ability. He basically just... Riki won't be able to go into fights. He just won't. He won't be able to go into an engagement like this without feeling very, very, very exposed. Mid lane gonna get cleared almost instantaneously, even with mid T3 tower and top T3 tower down. They just do not feel safe leaving their base, and they are gonna pop smoke, so they're moving out under the guise of smoke, and the question is, are they gonna find someone with it? Nature's Prophet up in the top lane looking to split push this. He's got his Treants moving forward. Shadow Fiend rotating through the mid lane. They might find a Coddle. Shadowblade going to get popped. They rotate up. They do find that Coddle. Is he going to go for this? Yes, he is. And immediately Coddle goes down. So many
Radiant's top
wards and
barracks
sentry
are
wards.
under attack.
And now Shadow Fiend, he rotates very
Radiant
cleanly
structures
right over
are
to that mid
fortified.
lane. It's going to take one wave out, and instead he rotates back onto the top. They're going to try and prevent that Nature's Prophet, and they do. He's going to get taken down. Just too many nukes in the Venge ult slash nuke. Not ult, but Venge stun slash nuke. Just enough
Radiant's
to take
bottom
out that
barracks
Nature's
are
Prophet
under
and get the
attack.
kill. It's now 32 to 26, and the longer this match goes, the worse it's going to be looking for the Dire. Let's look at the scary thing called the Shadow Fiend, which now has the highest net worth in the game, and Riki actually going to disconnect here. Question being is it an intentional? It appears to be intentional. Now Shadow Fiend has his Daedalus and Mask of Madness and a BKB. Oh dear. He's going to do a lot of damage. A lot of damage. Apparently the Slardar wants to continue right now because he's being yelled at. Well, alrighty then. I feel it's a relevant thing to say, and a very important thing to say. If you're playing Dota before you do your school homework, what are you doing, bro? Dota's not more important than your life. Okay, maybe it is, but you never know. Jeez, another unpause. Is it Slardar? It's Slardar. Silly Slardar, unpausing all the time, screwing over his teammates. Oh dear. This time Invoker's the one to unpause. Slardar getting a little bit outvoted as apparently he needs to do his homework. And again, if you're playing Dota before you actually do your homework or school, which I'd assume in this case is going to be high school, well then, you're doing something wrong. Well, the Radiant, they are now trying to press their advantage, and they realize they have that advantage. They are on the Dire side of the map, and they're looking to control this match from here on out. They don't want to be the Dire's bitch anymore, and they're going to show the Dire, this is why we're here. Ooh, and Assault Curios going to be coming out from Slardar here. Going to be able to make things happen. Tanking up with his 13 armor. Hollow Blast going to be headed downrange. A lot of damage to the creep wave. Slardar just kind of sidesteps it pretty cleanly. And right now, the Dire, or the Radiant, they look like they want to push high ground, but they have no capability to do so. Even with the Shadow Fiend, it might not be enough damage, and the fact that there's going to be that Nature's Prophet here to split push means it's going to be a very challenging job to split push at all. Multiple TPs, and right now, Nature's Prophet has just done his job. He gave the Radiant breathing room, and that's what they needed, was to push back the Radiant from their side of the map. Shadow Fiend is going to Shadow Blade in, but he's not going to find anything, because Nature's Prophet is just already gone. And I guess it's just so counterintuitive to have a Nature's Prophet actually go into the jungle and farm your jungle, then instead he searches all the trees. And he's also sitting in the trees. Now the Dire just back to farming on their side of the map. Ricky needs to get as much farm as he can, because right now his usefulness has been completely nullified. And if he doesn't get that usefulness back, then what was even the point of playing that Ricky in the first place? So far the question is that just Ricky's getting completely outplayed by the Shadow Fiend. And this game probably not going to go for too much longer. I'd say the longest this game should go is the 60-minute mark. At least that's what I'm going to say. Hopefully it does come true.
The pattern rewoven.
Oh, Weaver, you're so silly. Now both sides are sitting back and farming right now. I'm liking what I'm seeing from, just both of the teams right now. The fact that Shadow Fiend, he's got his Daedalus, he's got a ton of crit damage, and he's got just a ton of damage to throw on top of that. Holy shit, he's dealing 260 damage? No, 270? No, I'm sorry, 370 damage. 370 base hit damage. That's a lot for not having a Divine Rapier. Now they do rotate up. They're going to find that Ricky, and the gym going to reveal him instantaneously, and that is a very dead Ricky. Nature's Prophet, he has to split push through this. They need to make this happen, and immediately the Radiant, all 5 of them rotate up to the top lane. Nature's Prophet, in the meantime, he's down in the bot lane, ready to split push this as hard as he can. Roshan going to be up in 30 seconds, while in the meantime, the Radiant are pushing this top lane T2 tower. The Dire just staying back on the high ground. They don't even feel safe.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Now Nature's Prophet continuing to try and make this happen.
Dire's
Top
top
T2
tower
tower
has
goes down
fallen.
almost instantaneously, and they're pushing right for high ground too. They want this T3 tower. Treant's come out, and now the Nature's Prophet trying to push this bot lane as hard as he can. The question is, is it going to be hard enough? With all three T3 towers down, he'll have a very clean push right to the racks, but he needs to actually be able to get to the racks. And the Treants, they rotated out of lane for a short amount of time, and that's just, no. They needed to stay in lane and continue pushing as hard as possible, and instead, they decided they needed all 5 back at base, especially in the absence of that Ricky instead, which I agree with completely. They needed all 4 of them back at the base in order to defend this. But the simple truth behind it is they also need to split push. They need to try and win this.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack.
Now double catapult have rotated in here, doing just a little bit of racks damage. Nature's Prophet in the meantime, starting to solo Roshan, and TPN from Invoker going to assist him. And this ward just unfortunately cannot save the Roche Bits. The Radiant have no idea that this is going on. Nice cold feet clearing everything. Treant's not even taking hits right now. Finally gonna try to take a little bit more hits. Kunkka rotates in. Now the Radiant realizes what's going on, but it's already too late. Age is gonna pop. Gonna go the way of Nature's Prophet this time. So they definitely realize they're going to need split push capability, but in this instance, if Nature's Prophet is split pushing and he gets caught out and he has to pop that Aegis, then he's probably already dead a second time, in all honesty. Shadow Fiend dropping his Gem of True Sight. He's going to give it to Slardar by the looks of things. And Weaver now with Dust going to keep making this stuff happen. Creep Wave pushing in this bot lane once again, trying to deal whatever damage it can, while the Dire, they're just sitting back on their side of the map, trying to get whatever farm they can, but it's a little bit late for farm at this point where XP's already in favor of the Radiant. Gold is slowly turning back around, and the longer this goes on, that's just the larger amount of time that it's going to continue slipping the way of the Radiant. Shadow Fiend going to two-shot the small Ancients. Gonna four-shot the final Ancients. That's just depressing. Turns right back around. Shadow Blade gets popped. That is a Rubik who stole Blink Strike. I like it. My, that's a lot of deadly things you walked into there, Rubik. Immediately, Rubik goes down, but in comes the BKB. Rubik just drops like a rock. Weaver right here. Boat coming in. Is it going to be enough? It only hits two of them. Slardar about to go down. Kunkka's in the air. Shadow can steal. Vinch goes down. This is just crazy. Weaver, he time lapses. He's going after the Coddle. Will it be enough? One shot needed. Coddle goes down. Turn this back around. Invoker taking a lot of damage. Weaver might be about to solo this. Yule Scepter going to take that. Weaver out of the fight temporarily, but Nature's Prophet goes down. He buys back. And now that's almost a full team wipe. 4 out of 5 once again. Only Invoker staying up, and they're pushing mid lane hard. 2 buybacks occurring. 3 out of 5 online for this push. No, they're going to rotate back. Where are they going? They're going bot lane. Apparently, they just want to take it slow and steady.
Regeneration.
Now, as to whether I agree with the slow and steady approach, I gotta say, overall, I kind of don't, actually. Right then and there, if they had made a push there, it would have been a Coddle, Invoker, and Nature's Prophet to counter push against you, with the Shadow Fiend pushing high ground, the lane pushing in. That could have been a very simple push if they'd actually gone for it, but instead they don't. So, nothing going to exactly come out of that. Instead, they're just going to try and split push, and now they go back to farming, actually. Butterfly out on the Shadow Fiend now, as if he wasn't dealing enough damage originally. Now he is dealing about 380, almost 390 damage, and this is all without a Divine Rapier, which is just crazy shenanigans. There's only been one match I've seen that has had any hero deal more damage than that. Well, that's false questions, actually. I'm more referring to a game where I had a gyrocopter with 3 Divine Rapiers that was dealing 1,200 damage a hit. Those were good times. Good times. Bum bum ba dum bum ba da bum bum. both sides just back to farming right now. This is just shenanigans that the Dire are letting this happen. Every moment that this continues, they are not gaining an advantage. They are losing an advantage that they just don't have anymore. The farm game is not going to support them. It's not going to help them. The longer they farm, it's just the more time they're giving the Shadow Fiends to get even scarier. He has a Daedalus now. He does an insane amount of crit damage. If he were to crit someone, he'd probably two-shot them. And his attack rate is just great enough that it deals just that large amount of damage. Now, Rune Vision is one of those things that the Dire wish they had, instead they don't, and they're just kind of suppressed in their base, sitting on the high ground, wondering when the next attack is going to come. Mid lane did push out slightly. It's about to the river. Top lane,
Radiant's
same
bottom
story.
barracks are under attack.
Nature's Prophet, the only one who really feels safe, and apparently Team Chat, they are lulling. Now Nature's Prophet not even pushing. He doesn't feel safe going by his T2 tower when he doesn't know when where the enemy team is. Rubik right here, about to walk into the enemy. TP in from Nature's Prophet. They find the Rubik, but is it enough? Ricky almost gets two-shot. Still taking a lot of damage. Blinding Light comes in. Nature's Prophet BKBs everywhere. Boat comes in, gonna hit that Shadow Fiend almost head on. Weaver still here. Nature's Prophet goes down. Manly comes down on the Slardar. They're turning this around. In comes the Tidebringer, trying to deal as much damage. So much damage. Deafening Blast gonna knock back the Shadow Fiend. In comes the Chaos Meteor. Kunkka goes down. They need to kill the Shadow Fiend, but they still can't kill him. It's just too much DPS. Invoker goes down. He has an ultra kill. Shadow Fiend just killed every person here. He's beyond godlike. This is GG if he just pushes, which he is doing. He's got his lifesteal. He's gaining 100 HP per right click. Tornado comes out. Static gonna do whatever it can, and now Coddle gonna bring out his Coddle Blast, but oh, Shadow Fiend, he's gonna get forced back. That Coddle Blast just enough damage that Shadow Fiend doesn't feel safe pushing. But at this point, I am just absolutely about to say, please, Dire, please don't go back and farm anymore. And thankfully, Shadow Fiend is just gonna rotate down to the bot lane and continue pushing out that lane. A very smart move indeed. With so few buybacks, the Radiant pretty much all have buyback except for their Rubik, while on the other hand, the Dire have 0 buybacks. They're going to have no capability into the next fight. If they lose another team fight, this could well just be GG, in fact. And with this Shadow Fiend pushing bot lane, they're going to take that T2 tower. I don't even need to say it's a possibility that they're going to take the T2 tower. It is basically guaranteeable that they're going to take the bottom T2 tower. Shadow Fiend just deals so much damage right now. He hasn't died in a while. He has 36 spirits. Well, souls. And indeed, he almost deals 400 damage per right click. That's just so scary. And indeed, the Radiant going to do exactly what I was kind of hoping they weren't going to do. Now they rotate back around and they continue farming. Dear Lord, why? They have a 6k XP advantage. Gold is still slowly turning around. There's still a 10k gold advantage. But so many Shadow Blades, so many heroes rotating right up into the jungle here. The Dire did have some good vision. They're going to be able to spot this out. They're trying to back up. They find the ward. Shadow Fiend reveals himself, and instead they just have the capability to push this top lane. They could backdoor the tower if they wanted to. Slither and Crush just barely going to miss. The blink not far enough. Forge Spirit's going to come out and find that they're about to get two-shot. And now Nature's Prophet going to pick up the DD rune as well as push out the bot lane once again, trying to split push as much as he can. But right in this situation, it's really hard to split push as this Nature's Prophet, where any hero that TP's back is going to be able to counter your push. It's just brutal to have to deal with this type of game right now, and the Radiant are still just sitting back. This is Oy vey, this is just getting brutal as what this is no longer a fact that the Dire are just defending too well or the Dire are not pushing hard enough. Right now the issue is the Radiant just aren't finishing. That or they just don't know to finish. This is getting ridiculous. The Radiant are continuing to farm. Are they about to kill this Nature's Prophet? Dear God, I hope so. You can bloody solo him. Please, solo him. You didn't... There isn't really much else to say about that. Other than we're sitting here waiting for Roshan, which will take another 50 seconds nonetheless. There's a nice observer ward out, which is going to spot 2 of them. Now they find that Weaver. Backstab misses. Shadow Fiend coming in. Oh, this is going to be so brutal. Ricky gets spotted out. Boat coming in. Is it going to be enough? Ricky goes down. Nature's Prophet goes down. Kunkka goes down. They turn right back around with 3 heroes down. Shadow Fiend is just so deadly right now. Coddle takes a few moments to pop his ult, and that might just be the few moments the Shadow Fiend needs to brutally murder him. Thankfully, he's able to juke through the trees here. Is he going to be able to keep him alive? Yes, it is, actually. They just turn right back around, and now they start pushing this lane out once again. Please, God, push the lane. End the game. We're at the 60-minute mark. This should have been over like 10 minutes ago. Now Blast comes out clearing a lot of the creep wave, but it's simply not enough. They're going to continue pushing high ground, and this is the death of this tower. Guaranteed. Please, God, let it be the death of this tower. You can backdoor it. Oh, the mana leak. Stand still. Stand still. There we go. Mana leak wears off. Shadowfiend takes a lot of damage, but it's simply not enough. He needs to stay in here. Please stay. No.
Killing spree.
Okay, Shadow Fiend thankfully does rotate back in, and now I just gotta say, Shadow Fiend, please, just backdoor the tower. You can do that. You're so flippin' scary right now. Not only that, but you have an escape mechanic. You have a Shadow Blade. I don't think they have any... Okay, they have Dust. They have that capability, but the moment you get away from the tower is the moment you stop taking damage. And, oh, God. Now Roshan is up. Slardar blinks in. He's gonna take like 5 seconds to kill Roshan. Okay, it just goes to Weaver. Cheese gonna get picked up by Slardar by the looks of things. And indeed, that is true. Shadow Fiend rotates right back to the mid lane. He's got some mana, he's got full health, and this should just end. And it's not. It's just depressing. Not ending. Not ending. Vinge Wave coming out. They're going to find the Coddle. Nice swap. Now they go in for this fight. Ricky going to drop like a rock. He gets 3-shot by the Shadow Fiend. Tower already dropping. Hit the tower, man. Turns right back around. Goes after the Invoker. Again, turns back around. GG gets called by Slardar. A very rude GG, may I point out. T3 tower goes down. Slardar still soloing. BKBs get popped by both of them. Kunkka goes down. Torrent not going to do anything. Slardar still pushing. Blinks on. Slither and Crush not going to do anything. Vinge goes down. Nature's Prophet still here. They turn this back around. Shadow Fiend goes down, actually. Just unable to stay alive. And now Slardar about to get the kill on Kunkka. Will it be enough on Nature's Prophet? Excuse me. Yes, it will. He goes down. But Slardar is guaranteed to go down in this fight. He's going to drop the gem. Weaver, on the other hand, also goes down. His Aegis now getting popped. Gem getting picked up by that Invoker. Can Invoker do enough? That's the question right now. And it looks like the answer might be yes. He gets picked up by the Yules. Sunstrike comes in. Weaver time lapses. Trying to Sakuchi out of here. Slardar comes back in. Looking for the kill. They turn back around. They do. Invoker goes down. And Rubik's back in here once again. Buyback from Shadow Fiend. He's already on the tower. Mid-rack's gone. T4 tower now going down. And yes, this is almost GG. It's so close. It's palpable. Invoker goes down once again. Coddle, the last remaining hero. The only one who does... yeah, just... He's the last one. T4 tower goes down. Throne is getting hit.
Tower is under attack.
And instead they turn right back around. They want a full team wipe. And actually Ricky comes out of the last one, so it's not quite. It's a staggered team wipe. But that is still GG.
Radiant victory.
A very long match, ending 52-33 in favor of the Radiant. Started off looking very well for the Dire, and then just got turned around as Shadow Fiend came online. He dealt insane amounts of damage, and he did his job as Shadow Fiend. Now, the one thing I have to note about this, though, is calling GG that early on, calling GG like that, it is completely unsportsmanlike. Even though this is a game in between two uncompetitive teams, it is still a very rude thing to say that before the enemy team does, unless you are hitting their throne. If their T4 towers are down, go right ahead. Say it. I mean, at that point, it is GG. But before their T4 towers are down, it is not only rude, but disrespectful to call GG. So, just a note for everyone out there, don't call GG like that. It is insulting. Either way, my name has been Pankzers. We will have more Duck Soup matches coming your way on Tuesday, and I hope you will join me for those. See you later.